I thought to myself, let's film down here today in front of the nook where I do my reading and my record listening. And then I realized that like there is so much happening outside. For how quiet it got where I actually film normally, I chose down here today because apparently I like to follow the sound. Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you've never been here before, well, I'm sajak, and that's really all there is to it, let's be honest. I'm coming to you live from my nook with my mismatched wallpaper, and that's really it. Filthy mistress. It wouldn't be a video without heart palpitations. Anyway, today I wanted to come here and rant, I guess. I have some complaints. I have some things to say. And honestly, if that isn't about 85% of my channel, I don't know what is. Today we're going to be talking about... Wow, I got lost in thought about my own mortality there. We're going to be talking about an interview that Hayden Panettiere did with People magazine and the complete lack of ethical integrity around the fact that people were able to see it. So before we get into it, please make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. We are almost to 30K. We are almost to 30K, and make sure you check that you are, because I have heard from several people, and I'm not just making this up so that you do it. I was in the beginning, but now it's true. A lot of people have told me that they're not subscribed anymore, so they had to come back and subscribe, not because they unsubscribed. I mean, that's valid too. I get it. I get it. I really do. But I mean, in terms of like YouTube actively unsubscribing people, that's a thing that has happened. It's happened to me with creators that I like. It's happened to people on my channel who said they were unsubscribed from me, and I've been putting out a heck of a lot of content lately, so you might want to miss it. I don't know what your life is like. Anyway, just make sure you're subscribed and like the video, and while you're checking to make sure you're subscribed, check and make sure you're registered to vote. There's a link in the description below, and you should do that, because no matter who you're voting for, voting, well, it's there. Also, you can find all my social media, Patreon, channel memberships, Amazon storefront, merch. We're dropping merch this Friday. Is it Friday that we're doing that? Yes. Allegedly, according to my calculations, we should be dropping merch this Friday. So keep your wits about you, because we're dropping merch. Anyway, let's get into it. Shut up, self-promotion sajak. If you haven't heard about this interview, you're about to, okay? Hayden Panettiere, which a lot of y'all will know from movies when she was littler. I remember her from that movie that nobody saw called Joe Somebody with Tim Allen. You know Tim Allen's real last name is Dick? Did you know he sold out a bunch of his friends when he got busted with a bunch of cocaine? I don't even remember what else was Hayden Panettiere. Oh, she was on that Nashville show. She was on Lost. She's been in everything. Most notably and most importantly, the worst Bring It On movie of all time.
That's the best you got?
And of course, as Kirby in the Scream 4 and Scream 6.
I have powers.
What else do you need? She's been through the ringer over the past few years. She opened up about her experience with postpartum depression, and she made the noble choice to, I'm not sure if it's, she gave legal custody to her child's father, but either way he has custody of her, whether that's a court order or not. I am uncertain because I am not the law. It's got biotin B6 and B12, so it's something you can feel good about. I would feel good about a sponsorship. All that said, Ms. Panettiere has certainly been through her fair share of stuff. And then recently her brother died as well, which clearly has taken a very huge toll on her. So let's watch a little bit of this interview that she just did with People magazine that remains up on their TikTok account.
She's beautiful and she came out just like me. I mean, talk about nature versus nurture. I mean, this little girl literally came out, not just her face like resembling mine, but she is my personality. She just is. I saw her in her school play once. It was more of like a Christmas special thing, and she was more concerned about directing the kid next to her in his steps than she was about what she was doing. And I was like, leaving this poor kid alone. Like, just do your stuff. And she's like, come on, man, like, turn around. What's wrong with you? Going like this in front of everyone. I was like, that's mine. That's my kid.
Maybe she'll be a director.
Yes, maybe she'll be a director. Losing my little brother, there's nothing like, I mean, he was my only sibling, and he was my younger sibling, and it was my job to protect him. And when I lost him, I felt like I lost half of my soul. I remember saying to somebody, and it hadn't even been a year, and I was like, don't ever expect me to get over the loss of him, because no matter how many years go by, he will always be beside me, and it will always be, I will always be heartbroken about it. I will never be able to get over it.
So clearly something isn't completely right. And I don't mean that in a judgmental way. I mean that in the sense of it very much seems like she's taken something to some degree. While obviously the most important thing would be to get her the help that she needs. Obviously in enduring grief, which is never a linear or simple or short or pleasant process. Obviously, if she's showing up to interviews or photo shoots or whatever, and she's not sober in such a degree that, you know, she's sort of slurring, she's sort of, her eye, she's got the big sleepy blinky eyes, you know, it's so heartbreaking. And the most heartbreaking part about it is that we are all able to see it, which leads me to ask, does any publication have any sort of ethical foundation anymore? Because like those videos on People, like they're on their TikTok, have millions of views now, at least over 1 million the last time I looked, and I'm not going to go back there and look again. I think it's absolutely disgusting that they would even think to publish that, knowing how that looks. And it's 100% sensationalistic because they want the clicks and views. There is no way any editor, any journalist, anybody whose eyes had to glance upon that interview to put it out into the ether saw that and was like, nah, yeah, that looks good. Earnestly, that looks great. No fucking way. No fucking way. And the thing is like, I genuinely don't think that there's anything that can be done in terms of like retracting it or undoing the damage it's done, I guess. I don't think she could sue. It's not like they altered it to make her look bad. And not that she looks bad, but she just looks like someone who needs some help. Anyhow, so I just opened Instagram yesterday, and hers was the first name. She was the first account that popped up on my like timeline. And she posted a picture and this caption, and I'll put it here and I'll read it to you, okay? You don't even have to do anything. I would like to take a moment to address the controversy surrounding an interview I recently completed with People magazine. It's unfathomable that I'm even in this position, but I feel forced to address it in a space where I won't be criticized for how fast or slow I speak. I hadn't slept for 2 days prior to the shoot due to one of my dogs who was recovering from an emergency surgical procedure. It was an 8-hour shoot, followed by a non-camera interview that was supposed to last for 1 hour. The interview started well, and for the record, its beginning is not included in the version People magazine posted. I was exhausted. My rep stopped the interview as early as it became obvious I was fading, especially as the subject matter became heavier. We asked the interviewer if we could redo it another day or do a follow-up interview on Zoom. She assured us that it wasn't necessary and that she felt it was an emotional and heartfelt interview. We were also told they would edit it and that it would be a beautiful piece. The magazine does not grant approval for images or video interviews before they run. We see the interview when it goes live. Grief looks different on everyone. Whether or not I am on medication is none of anyone's business and is between me and my doctor. I am doing interviews to promote my new film because I am proud of it. The real issue here is the toxicity of social media and a news cycle that is driven by clickbait. My mental health is so important, and I hope those reading this now understand that what you say hiding behind a computer screen can have a detrimental impact on someone. For those of you who have come to my defense amidst this chaos, I am so grateful. Like I've said before, I am a work in progress. We all are. And honestly, my judgment isn't on her. My judgment is on People magazine. Because people struggle with all kinds of things. And whether or not she was actually just overtired, or she was, popping pills, or she was drinking heavily, I don't give a fuck. At the end of the day, this disgusting ass magazine, who used to be like a reputable source, right? Not like not the Times, but like as far as like celebrity and pop culture fodder, like they used to be reputable. And like, how vile to look at that and not scrap it, because like, what the heck, like, how can you? Listen, I talk my fair share here about People, right? Like, I absolutely do. I will own that. I will make fun of Shane Dawson's ass until the day I die, okay? Because he's been a patently bad person. Same thing with Gabby Hanna. Same thing with Jeffree Star. Same thing with James Charles. Like, these are people who have made really, really horrible choices, continue to do it, suffer the consequences for about 35 seconds, and then move forward in their mansions and whatever. I have no problem mocking them, because they just continued the same patterns of behavior, or ignoring old patterns of behavior, or what have you. But here's the thing. If I ever came across, here's a great example. Here's a wonderful sort of tangential sort of example, okay? When Gabby Hanna was having a huge mental health crisis, in that she was posting manically to TikTok like 25, 35 times a day, let a stranger in her house, that whole ordeal, okay? I did not think of a fun way that I could edit that into a sensationalistic piece. I spoke about it carefully. I spoke about it honestly. And I didn't try to make her situation look worse than what it was. I didn't go, let's try to pass this off as she's being very normal. I think this is a beautiful piece. Like, no. As a journalist, as a commentator, as a person with a platform of any kind, or who is utilizing a platform of any kind, it is important to handle things like that with care. Have I personally always done it? I've tried to. I'm sure I've failed here and there. But like, to be a major publication and be so, I don't even want to say careless, because I think that this was absolutely intentional. And I think it's disgusting. And I think those videos should be pulled. And I think Hayden Panettiere is owed a massive apology. And I wish Hayden all the best in the world. And I wish her health and happiness and a clear head and a happier life than she's had the past few years. Because you know what? At the end of the day, we're all just looking for an Alani sponsorship. You know what I mean? What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? Anything to add? I'm waiting. I'm sorry for being so intense. I'm sorry for being in this corner. We'll be back with our emotional support laundry. Actually, I have an item of emotional support laundry right here, but that's none of your business. All right, I gotta go. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for being here with me. Stay tuned for the outtakes if there are any. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Tam, do you ever listen to me? It was the last thing that I said in bed to you last night.
No, I believe, if you recall, the last thing you said to me in bed last night was, no!
Cocaine.
So, clearly, the van is here. Clearly, shut the fuck up.